All right, day 9. I'm gonna go paint a store today. A little update, I have a rash on my hand, which is not the best because this is my painting hand. I'm allergic to mango oil, and I picked up a mango a couple days ago. I didn't really think much about it. I didn't think I would react, but apparently I did. It's on my hand, it's a little bit on my arm right here. I have this anti-itch spray for it, so if it starts to get really uncomfortable, I'm just gonna spray this on it. Random fact, but the oil on mango is very, very close to poison oak oil, so if you're allergic to poison oak, it's possible for you to be allergic to mango oil, and I am one of those people. So I have pretty much poison oak rash on my fingers. I caught it pretty quickly, so I put this thing called Techno on it, so hopefully it doesn't get a lot worse. I don't know, but I'm gonna go paint anyway. Hopefully this will help me. It's starting to rain quite a bit, so I think I'm gonna paint in the car through this window. Yep. Okay, this is today's painting. I really tried to pick and choose what I wanted to emphasize in this painting and what I didn't want to emphasize. So I chose the trees, the deer, and the car. Then I spread out and I added more things and tried to get this building where it's not overwhelming, but you can still see the building. I think it turned out pretty good compared to some of the other structures that I've painted before. I really worked on painting from the inside out rather than the outside in. I think this painting really shows me that me spending time painting buildings and structures is helping, and I'm starting to understand what I'm looking at a lot more and how to paint it. So that's always nice to see the improvement. This truck looks good because of the trucks and the cars that I painted before. It's almost like when you add more words to your vocabulary. Now that I'm working on buildings and cars and trucks, it's like I'm adding it to my vocabulary. Now I kind of understand how to paint them. I can include them in my painting. So like this truck, it was not that hard to include it in my painting because I already have experience with trucks and cars. So adding it wasn't that difficult, and I think it turned out pretty good. I was really playing with different colors. So the truck, I put purples and blues and yellows in this white truck. This deer was brown, but I put blue, green, red in it, and I think it really makes them look alive and more real when you add different colors like that. So I was experimenting with that. I did some interesting things with the trees. I don't know if I like it or not. I think it's definitely a way of doing trees. I just need to get better at it. I actually really like drab colors and muted colors, but because it's watercolor, I feel that this paint really calls for light pastel-y colors. So it's interesting for me to go from acrylic or oil, where I kind of like dingier colors and working with dingier colors, and working with this. So I'm getting kind of a new appreciation for these colors. I don't know if I completely like the really light paint like this. If I was going to do it over again, I might have a little bit more darkness to it. It's just a little too light. But I think leaving a lot of white really helped me deciding what to choose to put in and what not to choose to put in. So I think for the next couple buildings, I will paint in more this style, because when you add a lot of color, you can mask a little bit where your mistakes are, where you can't mask when you're leaving this much white. Similar to drawing, you can draw something with a few lines and it still looks like it, and you're very precise what lines to use and what lines not to use to make it look like the form you want. Or you can draw with many lines, very, very detailed, but detailed can sometimes mask where your problems are. So I feel like with painting, leaving a lot of white and letting it be light is forcing me to see my mistakes and make them more obvious than when they're dark. If you remember the playground one, the guy and the girl, I made them super dark, and it was because I was masking where I put the problems, because I just kept putting paint over and over and over on it, which turned out okay, but it was still masking where my problems were. So even though I don't think I like the look of it that much, I'm going to continue with this lighter scale, I think, for at least a couple of them. I think my favorite part of the painting is this deer, because it's really small, but I feel like I was able to capture its figure with my paintbrush. I actually can't really specifically point out bad parts of the painting, maybe these blocks, but really, it's pretty good, so nothing glaring that I can see. But yeah, number 9 done.